Gross. Alright, I'm gonna try something a little bit different this time. I'm actually on my house, the roof of my house, because I've been having a pigeon problem for I don't know how long. And I finally decided to do something about it before it gets too hot here. I had pigeons that are nesting on my roof here under my panels. I put these panels on about 10 years ago, and I haven't had this pigeon problem until maybe this last year and a half. I was hoping they would just find their way out of here and leave, and they did not. So right now they do have a nest underneath one of the panels, and by the looks of it, it's maybe been there longer than a couple of years. So I don't really like being on my roof. This is concrete tiles, and they crack pretty easily. I've had to repair a few of them after I had this system installed anyways. I mean, we can take a look at the system real fast, and then I'll show you what my plan is. So here's my array. I got 27 of these 215 watt panels. Let's see. Already got one moved upside down so you can kind of see. There you go. There's the information for everybody that wants to know. I pulled one of these panels off because the bird nest is underneath this one. And I don't know if you can kind of see. That's the edge of my roof. Let's walk down there so you can see. So much pigeon poop. So that's the edge of the roof, and I'm not going to get that close to the edge of the roof because there's still at least an inch of concrete tile that's overhanging that, and I don't want to step on that because it'll break. And that's maybe a foot wide. I don't need to die because it is quite a long drop. Right, Finn? Finn! So I've taken that panel out of the way, and let's take a look at that. So now, I don't install solar panels on a residential setup, only on RVs, but the theory is the same, I guess. In fact, you can install these on an RV. Some people have. But I had this professionally installed by Sun Valley Solar here in Arizona. And you have these hold down tracks that hold the panels down themselves. It's got this cool little bolt. I think it's 11 millimeter nut right there. The whole thing will just pull off. You get enough slack in these lines, or in the wires right here, to move it out of the way. I haven't disconnected anything, so theoretically, except for my shade, I'm still making power just fine. I haven't disrupted my array at all. Don't do this in heavy winds, obviously. So I need to get that panel up out of the way. Let's take a look underneath it. So there's the bird nest right under there. It's like a mountain of poo. And there's actually a bird on the nest right now. I mean, if I was going to live somewhere, that's probably where I would live too. My own roof. But they're making a big mess all over my cars and my concrete walk where my dogs are. They got so much poop. I got to get that out of the way for their safety too. And it's gross. So the first thing I have to do is take this grounding strap off this panel here so I can actually move it. That should be enough. Alright, so that's clear. The next thing is to loosen up each one of these bolts. It's just 11 millimeter. The whole thing comes out pretty easily. Just repeat that 3 more times carefully, especially on those last 2 down there. I can't film and do that. So hopefully I won't fall off the roof next. Okay, so I got it out right there. And I just loosened it up. Just want to see if I can't slide this thing over to the next panel or secure it. Alright, let's see what we got underneath here. There you are. Looks like it's still not quite a baby bird, but definitely not a full-born. I guess a full-grown bird. You can kind of see the hair on its head, or the feathers on its head are still, I guess, baby feathers. Let me just see if I can't relocate this guy. Brought a box up here to do that. I gotta get this nest out of the way. Alright, so I got that thing barely balanced on the next one. Can't explain how stupid and dangerous all of this is. Just to save a bird. And get rid of all this bird droppings. Let's see. There it is. Hi friend, you ready to go? Sick of having you up here. You're gross. There you go, got my guy relocated right there. Already made a mess in my box. Alright, let's get this guy safely somewhere else. I'll clean up that mess and then put the panel back down and then get to putting down what I wanted to do from the beginning. This is what I got left of that nest. Meant to bring a shovel or something up here, but I didn't. Might have to bring the hose up here. I was always worried about something like this happening. I was talking to my solar company. They came by the other day to reset up my monitoring system because the past few years I've been on SRP's advanced monitoring system. SRP is my utility here, and they gave me a free inverter for a test program for a smart grid. So I didn't have any real monitoring on my solar system other than what they said I was doing. That's a boring story. But when the installer was here setting it up, I asked him about how do I keep birds from under here, and he said, well, you got to use chicken wire. And I said, well, that sounds miserable. I was afraid if I put chicken wire or something like that here, I'll get a whole bunch of leaves and I'll have to, clean it every year. And I guess that might be better than having a pigeon nest like this. I have to inspect the rest of this and make sure I don't have any more pigeon nests, and then go from there. I think I'm going to get the hose and wash this off. It's not something I really wanted to do right now, but this is gross. It's gross. Alright, I dragged my hose up here, sweep it around there to hold it tight, and I'm just going to start rinsing off my roof. Try to get all this bird poop off. Not sure how long this is going to take. That's gross. So much bird poop. Alright, I got it all rinsed off out under here. It's a little bit better. Try not to die. Because that ground strap is quite the tripwire. You can't really see it when you're looking down at it. It's dangerous. That's how you die. It's all rinsed off. I guess while I'm up here, I might as well rinse off the rest of the bird poop off the roof and rinse off my solar panels, right? They're pretty dirty. You see? Well, not that dirty. But I'm here. But the bird nest is gone. So that's the first thing I had to do. So I'm not going to spend all day scrubbing these things like I have in the past. I'll rinse off the dust and as much of the poop that I can. I'm not sure if anybody did any sort of like actual study on it, how much more efficient a little bit of dust coming off is than not having dust on it. Obviously, if it's covered in shading, it would be really bad, but there's not a big difference between rinsed off and dusty. And there it is. Almost done. Alright, so here's my plan, guys. Like I said, the guy said to use chicken wire, but I'm not going to be up on my roof trying to wrestle a roll of chicken wire, cutting strips of chicken wire. So I went down to Home Depot. These stucco corners for housing. They are theoretically galvanized and exterior grade. Maybe they'll weather, I don't know. But it should be just about the right length of what I need. It should be fairly durable. There you go, it's called a quick corner. 8 foot of it. So I took one already. And I just straightened it out. I took the bend out. I'm just going to screw this thing on to my panels. Hopefully you can kind of see it allows water to run underneath. Hopefully leaves, but it should discourage birds from perching inside. I'm not going to do a step-by-step tutorial because, you know, it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. But I'm going to see how this goes. I'm still a little concerned about doing the bottom edge right there. I might have to take some more panels off just to put some screws in there. But I definitely don't want to have to deal with birds again. Seems like maybe solar installers would know about this. But what do I know? I'm just screwing this lath with, ironically enough, last screws, 3/4 inch. They're self-tapping because I'm going to aluminum. These are exterior grade anyways. The only thing I want to be careful about is they did tuck the wires right here. So I want to make sure I'm not hitting the low voltage wire here. That'd be a bad thing because then I short it to this ground because it is grounded. So that's all I'm doing. They're just self-tapping screws. This is what it's kind of looking like. I assume this will be fine. That'll keep birds from crawling underneath under here. But water and leaves should still be able to get underneath. It's definitely saving me a lot of cutting time. There's no rhyme or reason for my screw placement. It's just to keep the whole thing kind of straight. I guess I got a long ways to go. And this is just what it looks like from this side. This is where probably the biggest gap is. I suppose a bird definitely could get under there if they were inclined to. It's just still seemed a lot easier than the alternative of cutting all this chicken wire by hand. Got my son helping me out with the last little bit here. I really hate this ladder. It's heavy and it's difficult to move, but it's a lot stronger than an extension ladder. So I'm just climbing up on the base here and I'm putting the screws in on the edge right here so I didn't have to lay down on this 1 foot wide path that's angled. And looks pretty much the same. A little bit of space. Let's finish this up. Alright guys, starting to get hot, but I'm done. Let's take a look at it. Whew. It's been a long morning already. So I'm just finishing up rinsing off the last panels that I couldn't get to because I had a panel on top of it. And I checked my my inverter down below. It doesn't look like I shorted anything out, so that's a good thing. And there was years past where I used to actually get a scrub brush and scrub these panels twice a year, but I never once saw a better improvement. So I'm not putting that kind of effort in anymore. I'm not entirely convinced that this is going to work, but I mean, I can get my hands underneath it, so hopefully if leaves and everything else won't get stuck on here. If we walk to the back here, the gap along the sides is a little bit bigger. Woo. But not too bad. I just cut in between each one of those braces. And that's what we're looking at. I think it should discourage birds at this point because there's only the one nest. It was a big gross nest, but only the one. And that's the full layout there. Like I said, 27 panels. 24 of them are 215 watt. I think the last 3 I had installed a few years ago, they were 245 watts. So a little bit different. These are sun power. Those, I don't know if they're Kyocera or whatever. I don't remember at all. I think I've done all my maintenance on the roof that I want to do today. Putting those back on was a lot scarier than I wanted it to be. I ended up fabricating a harness out of a couple ratchet straps just so I could get perch down there to bolt those back on. Other than that, that was my plan. I had to get away from the dryer vent. We're doing laundry right now. It's getting me hot out there. think that's the water heater. At any rate, thanks for watching, guys. I don't know if this helped anybody out. I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe I'll check back in a few months and see if it worked out well. Bye. Alright, well there's the devastating outside remnants of gross. Oh, this is gross. So gross. Ugh. So, there's my, I guess, mountain of poo that I got from underneath my panels. This is gross. Gross. So we are looking underneath again, and look at what I found. Oh, it's about the size of a pigeon egg, huh? Guess that's a pigeon egg. Seems a lot bigger than I would have thought it would be. Every time I see it, it's broken on the ground anyways. Seems empty. Where you at, Thomas? Wow!